with Jenna.
It used to be my favorite holiday. I know that may seem strange to a few of you, but I really enjoyed it. The painting of Easter eggs, spending the better part of the day searching for them, and at the end of the day, getting an Easter basket filled with candies, chocolates, and other goodies. Each year growing up, my mother would take me to the local mall to meet and greet with the Easter Bunny. Admittedly, when I first encountered this person, I was freaked out. I even cried. The fake, unwavering smile that bored into my soul caused me to avoid eye contact with it. However, after sitting on his lap and him talking to me in a silly voice, my fears soon diminished. That was until I turned 8. It was the week before Easter, and my mother took me by the hand as we crossed from the parking lot into the concrete building. The line was rather short this year round, but that wasn't all that was different. The costume seemed a tad plain this year. Yes, I knew it was a costume person, though I still believe that the Easter Bunny delivered the eggs. The vest he was wearing lacked the eye-popping yellows, pinks, and blues. The mask, which normally expressed happiness or laughter, was now absent of emotion. My mother picked me up and placed me onto his lap. I rapidly shook my head no, but that went unnoticed. My mother took a few steps back away from me to snap a quick photo. I could feel the man's hot breath on the nape of my neck, his labored breathing resonating through my ears. I tried to lean away from him, however, when I tried, I felt his grip on me become tighter. Just as my mother finished taking the final photo, I heard him whisper something that has haunted me for years. I am real. I could feel the blood on my face drain as my mother picked me up, and we walked towards the exit. I looked back over my shoulder as I walked through the doors. It may have just been the distance, but I could have sworn I saw that bunny wink at me. I felt a chill root me in place before my mother took me by the hand and we were heading home. On the drive home, I asked my mom if the Easter Bunny was actually real. I watched a sly smirk creep upon her face as she looked at me and whispered, "Well, of course, sweetie." I really don't know what possessed me to ask. What does he do? I mean, I knew that he hid the eggs. I was just trying to figure out what he would want with me. She simply replied with, "While you're sleeping, he comes around and hides Easter eggs for you to find." For some strange reason, that calmed me for the rest of the drive, even though she only just confirmed what I had already knew. When we arrived at home, I spent the rest of the day doing activities, coloring, playing games, whatever I could to get my mind off the fact that, with each minute, night was drawing closer. The sun was beginning to set, and with it came an almost breathtaking silence. My mother came in to tuck me into bed, and told me to go to sleep quickly or else Peter Cottontail wouldn't give me any goodies. I smiled as she exited, for she had just given me my resolve. All I had to do was just stay awake all night and nothing bad would happen. I laid there in my darkened room, cautiously eyeing my various furniture and toys scattered about. As my first scan of the room resulted in no changes, I breathed deeply. Then I heard it. A sound emanating from outside my window. It was reminiscent of scurrying, light scratches mixed with shuffling. This locked my breath in my throat as I fearfully peeked at my window. My blinds weren't drawn, and with the angle I was at from my bed, all I could see were the tree branches in the backyard. I didn't want to move. I had no intention of doing so until a thought crept into my head. What if the window was unlocked? Pushing the warm blankets aside, I let my feet touch the cold wood floor. Slowly, I crawled over to the window, careful not to be seen by any unseen creature. Once I made it to the window, I carefully and hesitantly edged my way up to the glass. With one eye, I peeked out into my backyard. Grass, garage, the large tree. Everything was normal apart from being blanketed by the night. Just when I was about to turn away, I saw it. Peeking out from behind the tree, its ears almost mimicking branches themselves. I saw the Easter Bunny. Its eyes glowed red, piercing a line straight to me in the night. I would have screamed if my throat wasn't dry and paralyzed. Instead, I just dropped to the floor. My heart was beating so rapidly it caused me pain in my chest. I knew I had to crawl towards the door to escape, so I rushed over on all fours, realizing that I had to stand up to reach the doorknob completely. When I did, I turned towards the window once more. The creature was face to face with the glass, its red eyes aglow, fixated upon me. Its breath coated the glass as I could make out a mouth full of razor-sharp teeth. Feeling moisture return to my mouth, I screamed with all my might, calling for my mother. I ran into the hallway and broke out into tears. My mother quickly rushed to comfort me. She allowed me to sleep in her bed for the rest of the night. The next day, I didn't even want to go outside, let alone search for Easter eggs. After my mom pretty much forced me out of the door, I found a couple near the patio. Begging my mom to let me back in, she said, "You didn't even check the yard. Go on." I swallowed my fear as I slowly paced out towards the tree. Leaning up against the trunk was a brightly colored egg with a very intricate design. Picking it up, I realized that it was plastic. Opening it with shaky hands, I found a small piece of paper. Scrawled upon the paper in jagged writing, "Happy Easter. I can't wait to see you again next year."
The Pottsville's annual Easter egg hunt of 1980. I can still remember it like it was yesterday. At the time, I was 9 years old. Like the other kids my age, I was excited about the upcoming Easter egg hunt. That year, I was determined to collect the most eggs and beat Susie Jenkins' previous record. Anyway, Pottsville is a small town with a population of about 10,000. It's your typical Midwestern town, much like Mayberry, where everybody knows each other and has just enough amenities to get by. For about 100 years or so, Pottsville had been holding its annual Easter egg hunt, which was often followed by the community potluck. I always looked forward to the community potluck, too. Anyway, I remembered that day the town square was packed, but you could tell that everybody was on edge. You see, about a month earlier, a giant meteor had landed on Old Man Johnson's egg farm. After the meteor landed, it caused a huge explosion that was felt throughout the neighboring counties. I could hear the grown-ups talking about the giant meteor, since it was the biggest thing to happen in Pottsville since the Great Train Wreck of 1945. Of course, several experts from the nearby university were called into town. The meteor was said to have been the size of a car, but that could have been an exaggeration on their part. All this talk about meteors was boring to me, and besides, it was almost time for the Easter egg hunt to begin. Soon the subject of the meteor was forgotten, only to be replaced with thoughts of the upcoming hunt. All I could think about now was how many eggs I could find. Luckily, I spotted my first egg 5 minutes into the hunt. Something was weird about this egg, though. Instead of your standard dyed egg, this one was black, reminding me of the eggs in the movie Alien. Anyway, I stared at it in awe and could feel something moving inside it, causing me to drop the strange-looking egg. At this point, the egg was beginning to crack. An awful smell like sulfur escaped from the egg, almost causing me to pass out. As I steadied myself, I could hear 8-year-old Mary Murphy, who was nearby, let out a shriek. Soon, the whole park was filled with screaming kids and frantic parents as all of the Easter eggs began to burst open, revealing what I could only describe as grotesque-looking rats, with some of the creatures having multiple eyes and legs. Not long after the chaos began to brew, the creatures began attacking all the people in the park. Those of us who managed to escape ran to the nearby church for refuge. Once inside the church, Father Miller immediately locked the door. "We should be safe in here for now," he said. The church was filled with concerned parents and sobbing children, including me. "Okay, folks, we need to calm down and figure out what those things are," Father Miller said. "Who are you telling to calm down?" Old Man Daniels shouted. "I understand your concerns, but let's be rational here." Just then, one of the windows shattered as one of the creatures tried to make its way inside, spraying glass everywhere. "Quick, follow me!" Father Miller shouted. We all followed him into the church's basement. Once everybody was safe inside, he slammed the door shut and then locked it. It was one of those vaulted doors, so we were safe. All of the women and children, including myself, began to cry. You could hear the creatures from above scurrying around. At this point, we were all on edge. So, when we heard gunfire off in the distance, we began to cheer. Help was finally here. In the days that followed, the surviving citizens of Pottsville were placed under quarantine, but soon the incident was forgotten, and nearly 43 years have passed. Last night, though, at approximately 9 p.m., a huge meteor landed on the Johnson Egg Farm. The annual Easter egg hunt is in 3 weeks, so in the meantime, I'll just wait and see what happens.